What happens when a strange flu spreads across the world and only those people start dying who are at the top of the social hierarchy because of their wealth and fortune? That means if someone wants to survive, he will have to be poor. Now how is this even possible? So let's start today's new movie recap called Rich Flu 2024, filled with such a unique concept and tremendous end twist. The story begins with Laura who, being a young businesswoman, is very busy with her work. Her focus was always on her work. That's why she was never able to give time to her family, and now she is getting divorced from her husband Tony. Today again Tony explains to Laura that she should not run so much after money. How much of her life did she lose behind this seemingly realistic success? Their daughter Anna, who is now 15 years old. Till date, Laura has spent not even 15 months with his daughter. However, Laura is not ready to understand anything. Especially now when his career is at its peak and he has already taken up many projects. So now, finally Tony gets fed up and leaves after reminding Laura that today is their daughter Anna's birthday. So she should come home on time and wish her. Now Laura really did not remember this, and she asks her assistant Chris to get a cake ready. However, she herself will not be able to go to Anna right now. Because today a big businessman had called the shareholders for his new project, and Laura does not want to miss this opportunity at any cost. Today itself she has to board the private jet of the big businessman Snell and go to the location of his project, which is in Alaska. Laura is now slowly and steadily reaching higher levels. Today, for the first time when the press asked her for an interview, she was very happy, and she also informed her husband Tony on video call how she won't be able to come for their daughter's birthday because she has to go to Alaska for a business deal. So he should give a gift to his daughter on his behalf. Now after the call is disconnected, Chris reveals to Laura that 5 of the world's richest men have suddenly died in the last 2 days due to strange reasons. Here Laura had already reached the runway, so she doesn't pay much attention to it, but she had no idea how much his life would soon change. Now apart from Laura, there was another rich businessman Paolo in this luxurious jet, and he also discusses with Laura how suddenly the 5 richest men of the world died in just 2 days. That too without any disease. Meanwhile, Laura notices that her teeth are shining for a strange reason. Now we will know later why this happens. Well, today Laura wishes her daughter Anna on video call. But Anna was very angry with him, so she doesn't respond to calls. And after a few hours of journey, the jet finally reached Alaska, from where all the investors will have to use dog sleds to reach the location of the businessman Snell. While leaving, they are also briefed that this project is very big for Snell Industries, and if they become a partner in it, they will soon reach a very high level. From here the entire group reaches Mr. Snell's settlement, where Mr. Snell himself gives a speech to all the investors. How he became rich by completing such difficult projects. And now in this new project, they will be mining in places with difficult conditions like Alaska, which no company has been able to do till date. According to Mr. Sandell, only a select few people like him across the world are able to move ahead, because they are ready to go to any extent for their progress, and the company needs such employees. Here everyone was ready for this deal after being happy with his speech. After some time, Mr. Snell also meets Laura alone. He learned that Laura had progressed so much in just a few years and he congratulated her. Laura also says that for this she had to leave her family. But she has learned from Mr. Snell that if you want to move up, you will have to leave behind time-wasting things like family, and that is why she is even taking divorce from her husband for her work. Now Snell was very impressed after hearing this, and he immediately appoints Laura for his company. Laura's first task from here will be to participate in a bid organized by Snell Industries and purchase an artifact by placing the highest bid. So Laura now returned the next morning. Here his daughter was still angry. So Laura starts reading market news online. Here she is shocked to see that chaos has spread everywhere in the last 3 days. Earlier only the 5 richest people were killed. Now their number has increased to 12. News portals have named this new disease Rich Flu, due to which till now about 12 richest and most powerful people from all over the world have been killed. Due to this, not only the stock market fell but every other thing also collapsed. As soon as Laura lands, she also asks her assistant Chris why these rich people suddenly started dying. And no one has been able to find out the reason yet as to which flu this is. Now Chris was also worried about this, and he even asked whether Laura should continue with the business. However, Laura was the first one to land a deal for Snell Industries, so she ignored them all and came to the auction hall. But when the crowd reached its highest amount, Laura got a call and she had to leave, and the crowd was won by someone else. But now as soon as the winner is announced, the winner falls at the same place and dies. That means if this mob had won, Laura would have been killed too. By now news started coming from the rest of the world about how rapidly the flu had spread. For some strange reason, this flu is spreading among the richest people, and as they die, the people below them are getting next in line. So now its speed has increased even more. Debate started everywhere as to how a flu could target only the upper class. Due to this, the economies of big countries have started falling. Scientists are also unable to find either the origin or the antidote of this flu. Now Laura also starts worrying about what happened all of a sudden. He got a call from his mother. How she brought her daughter Anna to her village in Spain, because the conditions in the city were deteriorating, and how Laura had already made a good fortune. So, he might also get infected with the flu because of her wealth. So Laura now gets scared and decides to leave everything here and go to her mother and daughter. But when she went to Snell Industries to submit her resignation, she found out that Mr. Snell had donated all his property and fortune to charity to save his own life, so that he would not remain rich but her life would be saved. Where Mr. Snell is now out of the list of 1,000 richest people in the world after this charity. However, Mr. Snell's son disagrees and tells Laura that he has kept most of his share of the property to himself and that his father is only doing so out of fear of death. He considers all this nothing more than a rumor. But now as he says this, his teeth also start shining. Laura remembered seeing that the businessman she met on the plane also had shining teeth and he was killed that morning. Actually, this shining of teeth is a symptom of that flu infection. And now Snell's son has also become infected with that flu because he kept his property with himself. Assistant Chris also comes and tells Laura that the situation has gotten worse. The list of people dying from that flu is continuously increasing, and an emergency has been declared everywhere. So it will be very difficult for Laura to reach her family in Spain. Laura says she will buy the tickets no matter what the cost. In any case, she will have to reduce his wealth considerably. While leaving, she also talks to Mr. Sunil on video call, who suggested to Laura that soon more people like Laura will start dying, because almost all the businessmen with top wealth are dead. So just as he gave his property to someone else, Laura will also have to give her wealth and property to someone else to save her life. But now the problem is that why would anyone not accept his property at the risk of his life? Because after Mr. Snell's charity, the charity trust stopped accepting charity out of fear for its life. So Laura can't even do charity now. Laura quickly goes home to pack her things and throw away all her valuables, but then government agents arrive, who are researching people on their rich list to find out how the flu spreads. Now Laura knew that they would not let her go anywhere. So she makes an excuse and sneaks out through the back door. She went straight to a private jet where her assistant Chris had already got her ticket ready for a very high amount of money. Here Laura now shows cleverness and tells Chris that since he helped her so much, she wants to give all her property to Chris in return, and he should transfer all the property in his name by signing a paper. Although Chris knew that Laura was just trying to get rid of him, and that he would get himself into trouble. So he refused to sign Laura's property documents and went back to his home. Here on Laura's plane, there were other rich people who were scared. None of them are able to find anyone to whom they can give their wealth and property to get rid of him. And in the meantime, when everyone sees one passenger's teeth shining, they get scared that this infection might spread to them. So everyone else threw that man down from the moving plane. After some time, the plane finally lands in Spain. But the situation here was similar to the rest of the world. It was being reported in the news that now even those people who had a moderate amount of wealth have started dying. So to save themselves, people started burning their own properties. This means that the fortune limit of those who die is continuously decreasing. And Laura's name will soon be added to it, if he hasn't transferred his property to someone else. Outside, Tony quickly picks up Laura and takes her to their daughter, where the police were also checking on the way to ensure that no infected person was passing by, although no one knew what was happening. Due to which the case spreads here as well, and Tony and Laura finally reach their mother's house. Here Laura's mother Martha was very worried. She also tells Laura that she always thought about progress, and now those same fortunes have become the enemy of her life. However, now she cannot do anything about her past even if she wants to. Laura now starts living in this small village. Everyone here knew him because of his mother. Some people even get scared after seeing it, thinking that it might have brought the infection with it. A man reminds Laura how the watch she is wearing was bought by Laura from her first job as a waitress. Here some neighbors also give their daughters to the flu. How this flu is steadily spreading down the social hierarchy. So nobody knows at what level it will come down and stop. Now Laura sits alone and discusses with her husband Tony how he ruined his life just to earn money. She devoted all her time to work which she should have spent with her husband and daughter. But now even he does not know when he will die because of this fortune. She even confesses to Tony how she tried to save his life by cheating and transferring the property in the name of his assistant. But he found out and now he also started hating her. Now Laura is also feeling guilty about herself for doing such a lowly thing. Now while they were talking, a large crowd of people came from outside and started shouting that since Laura was very rich, she should immediately leave their village. Because of that, the infection should not spread to their village. Laura also knew that there was no use in requesting her. So she asks him to give her a boat for her family's travel, and she will give him a lot of money in exchange for it. But his neighbor was also clever and gave him the boat for free without any money, so that their own fortune would get reduced. Now Laura, her husband Tony, Laura's mother Martha and daughter Anna, all four set out in the boat. Here, according to Martha, one of her friends lives in the mountains of Tanzania, a country in Africa, so they should go there and take shelter. The rest of the countries closed their borders, so that rich people from outside could not enter their country and spread the infection. Now he did not have any other option anyway, so they begin traveling on a boat for several days to reach Africa. Meanwhile, one night when it rained and there was a storm, they saw more boats in which rich people were fleeing to poor countries in Africa, so that they could save their lives by going there. Laura's family also gives shelter to a girl on their boat, and after 6 days of traveling, they are refused permission by Livia's Navy team to proceed further. This means they will have to go to a refugee camp before reaching their destination. While going to the refugee camp here, Laura and her family also notice how the world order has completely changed now. Earlier, refugees used to flee from Africa and go to Western countries. Now exactly the opposite is happening. Now, rich people from the West are entering poor African countries as refugees, because due to poverty here that infection will reach the last ones. A very big refugee camp was built here, where rich refugees coming from the West got entry after their testing. The girl who had also come in their boat separates from them so that their infection does not spread to her. Here Laura now offers to donate all her property to the African authorities so that they can give her shelter. But every refugee coming here was doing this, and why would the African authorities risk their lives to get donations? So Laura is told they will try to give them basic food and water. After this they will have to think about themselves on their own. Now while Laura and her family are searching for food, Laura also finds the same businessman tie which she had received at Snell's meeting. He tells how the whole of Europe is now being destroyed. That's why he also had to run away and come here to save his life. However, he has not been able to transfer his property to anyone else till now. That's why now as soon as his mask was removed, Laura saw that he too had become infected with that flu. This means that this flu has reached Africa. Here Laura and her family now find a tent and stay in it. Laura also apologizes to her husband Tony that he never gave her time and now she will not have any time left, because who knows when she will be killed because of her wealth. However, Tony, upon hearing this, reveals to him that nothing will happen to Laura, because he himself has been infected instead. In fact, to save Laura's life, he himself signed her property papers, and as soon as Laura's property was transferred to Tony, he himself got infected. He reveals how he has lived his life well with his daughter. So he sacrificed himself in place of Laura, so that Laura could also spend the rest of her life with Anna. However, Laura was very angry after hearing this. It was all his fault. Yet her husband took the punishment upon himself. And that too when just a few days ago she wanted to get a divorce from her husband Tony, so that she could focus more on her business. But Tony had always loved her. So he fakes his death to give Laura another chance, and he had even secretly signed Laura's property papers there in their village. Here Tony and Laura were saying goodbye to each other for the last time, when they started hearing Anna screaming from their tent behind them. Where in such circumstances some people wanted to take the wrong advantage of Anna. Tony and Laura attacked the men and rescue Anna. He knew that more people would follow him like this. So for the safety of their daughter Anna, all four of them again sit in a boat and leave for the next country. But now after reaching the sea, they come to know that other countries are not allowing anyone to enter their territory. And a Navy boat deliberately hits them, due to which all four started drowning in the water along with the boat. And when Laura regained consciousness in the morning, she saw that she was on an island, where people had saved him from drowning last night. However, apart from him, only his daughter Anna survived, where her mother was killed at the time of the accident. And later her husband Tony saved Anna's life by giving his life jacket to her before dying himself. He himself was bound to die of the flu anyway. And now only Laura and her daughter Anna were left alive. But luckily they reached an island about which not many people know. That means that since no other people from outside will come here, they will all be able to survive here. There was a small community of island people here. To avoid the flu, rules were made that from now on no one would become the owner of anything. Here everyone's fonts and other things were made public, where every day they will be randomly distributed among different people for one day, which will have to be returned to that member after the end of the day. This way no one will ever be able to own anything, and they will all be saved from that flu. Laura also starts a new life here with her daughter. Here she would do farming along with other members, and gather enough food to feed herself and her daughter Anna. Anyway, the distribution of other things happens randomly every day, so now no one is the owner of anything. Laura was initially willing to leave her entire family just to become successful. Her life has taken such a big turn that she has to earn her living by working as a farm laborer. She cannot add anything for herself even if she wants to. One day she saw a woman who was wearing the same watch after the distribution that Laura had bought from her first salary. So when Laura tries to get it back for a while, the woman puts a condition of taking food in exchange for it, and upon doing so her teeth also become white. That means that now people have started dying, even after consuming a little thing. This flu has reached such a low level in the social hierarchy that it clearly means that the entire world outside this island must have already died. And these are the last members left alive. That too because of its strict rules. From where Laura also came to know that now no one can switch on even a small thing, and they will have to save themselves by living such a community life. Now this story ended with this thrilling ending. But what will you do if such a flu comes in real life? Along with telling us in the comments if you like this unique video, then keep liking it. Thank you.